Ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to be looking at today is an IGT Player's Edge draw poker machine, which in this unfortunate circumstance has a dead monitor on it. I'm Lawton Barnes, you're in the metal shop, let's see if we can fix it. The monitor screen is blacked out. We see that the marquee lighting is on, and this is in a condition we call playing blind. And what that means is that when you coin up the machine and begin to play, you can hear it and you can see it doing things. It makes sounds, the hold lights come on, I can deal, but still nothing's happening on the screen. So we know that there's not a problem with the MPU board in the system. The problem is definitely with the monitor. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to pull it out of there. We're going to swap the chassis, which is the circuit board that drives the monitor. I'm going to put in one that I bought off of eBay. We're going to reinstall it and see if we can get this monitor working again. So, open up, and I'm just going to power down, and we will disconnect the Molex connector from the bottom of the monitor, and then I'm going to give it the old wiggle jiggle treatment, and this is going to lift right out. Whenever I'm working on a CRT monitor, the one thing we always do every single time, we never ever forget to do this, is to discharge the monitor before we go poking our fingers around in there. And the reason why is because this glass tube of the CRT can hold an electrical charge inside of it, and it can deliver an electric shock even when the power is not plugged into the monitor. It will shock you when it's turned off. So it's really simple to do this. All you need is a screwdriver and a cord with some alligator clips on it. One end of the cord will go to the chassis of the metal frame of the machine. The other one is going to slip right in on the screwdriver. It's going to slip right in under the anode cup like this. And once it's made contact with the metal connector inside, which it already has, that has now discharged the monitor. It's really that easy. Some of these that I've seen in arcade games and stuff, when you make that connection with the anode cup, it'll make a physical pop. You'll hear an electrical snap inside of this anode cup. Usually the Ceronics monitors, I don't hear it, but nonetheless we do it every time anyway and without fail. And once you've discharged the monitor, there are two little spring-loaded prongs inside this thing. These two little connectors here fit down in that hole right there, and once you've pinched them together, this will just come right off. So we've discharged it, we've removed the anode wire, and now it's just a matter of disconnecting the rest of these wires. And for that, I'm going to want a Phillips screwdriver. And now there's about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 different places we need to disconnect things. So with these two screws removed, this slides backward to me, and there's no particular order here. I'm just going to start with this neck board. This one, I just give it a little jiggle and pull straight back toward me, and it'll come right off of those pins right there. This is a ground wire which is connected to the outside of the CRT tube, and that one just lifts right off of the neck board. Very simple. And then these are called the yoke wires. They're going into this big 4-pin connector right down here, and I can just go back and forth with that, remove that cord. And then we get a couple more up here. This one is the ribbon cable that goes up to your controls on top of the monitor for your horizontal and vertical size and position. Pushing in on the tab releases that. And then we have two more connectors. These go to the Molex on the bottom of the frame. This one is going to be your power connector, 115 volts. And this one here is the video signal. It's coming in through this port right here called analog input. That's your RGB analog signal. And when we are reinstalling the new board, I want you to make note that there is a connector for analog input and TTL input, which would be a digital version. Always want to make sure we use this one and not this one. And how do we know which one to use? Because I pulled up an instruction manual on the internet and found a technician's notes written in the margin of his troubleshooting flowchart for the Ceronix monitor. And you know, he's asking here in the flowchart, is data visible? Yes. And then it says, check and see if some dickhead switched analog for TTL connector. And so what I have here, now that we've removed the faulty chassis, is one that I ordered from eBay. The seller advertised this in good working condition, had photos of it online. It wasn't terribly expensive. And let's just install it and see how well it works. And as we just discussed, I'll just kind of do this in reverse order. This monitor signal line goes into the analog input, not TTL. Yoke connector is going to go here. And this only goes in one way. It has like 3 pins on one side and one on the other, so it will only fit in the correct direction. I believe this one was our 115 volts AC coming in. And this one here was the ribbon cable from the control panel. And who's next? The neck board is next. Go ahead and start working this into position. The neck board is going to get the ground wire going to this post right here. It's going to have this keyhole aligned with the same part on the neck. And once it's positioned right, that's just a straight push down like that. And then this is the connector from the neck board to the chassis. It goes in right here. And I just heard that snap into place. And lastly, we have our anode cup. And I may have to, I'll use this little flathead screwdriver to help me out with this, but you just hook the little spring-loaded clip from on the bottom of the cup into that hole, and then you can kind of tug on this thing, and you can feel that they grabbed. They really stuck into place. Okay, and then final step, we're just installing the Phillips screws on the back of the chassis. It's important to have a good solid connection between the aluminum frame on the chassis and the metal ground frame. So for testing purposes, I have this on my bench here. If you don't have a setup like this, at this stage you could just take this, plug it back in the machine and see what happens. I would like to test it before I put it in. Just a couple notes on the things I have on my bench here. First of all, this is a test pattern generator, and this is going to create a signal to go to the monitor so that we can see what's happening. And this is an isolation transformer, and you always want to use an isolation transformer whenever you're testing a CRT monitor. This is for your own safety. It reduces the amount of wattage that's going into the monitor so that in the event of an electric shock, it won't kill you. All right, plugging in the test pattern generator, the TPG, into the Molex connector on the bottom of the monitor. That is powered up, and here is the moment of truth. It made a good clicking sound. Sounds like it's coming up. And there it goes. All right, so our new chassis is good. One thing that I want to point out here, this is one of the quirky little things about Ceronix monitors and Player's Edge draw poker machines, is If you've used one of these TPGs before, you know that this pattern that I'm looking at in the mirror here is blue. And on this monitor, it's yellow. And so what's happening is that for some reason, IGT decided that they would invert this monitor signal. It comes out of the MPU on the game as yellow and white when normally it should look like these. It should have like a blue background with black colors on it. So with the TPG here, I can step through and see different color patterns. This is all looking good to me. The black and white looks really good and sharp. Bars look great. These are the color bars you see here of cyan, magenta, and yellow. Normally these would be red, green, and blue if we were doing a non-Ceronics monitor. But all in all, I am very pleased with the way that this looks. And so let's put it back into the poker machine. I'm not going to discharge the monitor this time. I'm just going to not touch it. I'm not putting my fingers anywhere in the back or close to any electronics. I'm going to set this into the cabinet. That feels solid. We'll connect the Molex from underneath. And the moment of truth is to hit the power. Look at that. It works. We may need some minor adjustments here. I see a lot of discoloration in the top corner of the monitor. Sometimes I can get this out with a tool called a degausser. So why don't we give that a try right now? So this is my degaussing wand. It's just an electrical coil built into a ring, and the way that you use them is I'm going to hit the power button, I'm going to go around and around in circles, and then I'm going to draw it away from the monitor, and we're going to try to see if I can get that color pink to go away. So here comes the power. Going around and around and around, and pulling back away, and we got it. And that, my good friends, is how we replaced the chassis on a CRT monitor using one that we bought off of eBay. Look at those 4s and 5s. And 2 pair. Nah. Show me the money, baby.